A very good evening. Welcome once again to the second edition of News Tonight. It's me, Michael Jordan Lukomwa, with Elizabeth Nakakuni, and we'll go straight to what we have for you this time round. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has kicked off the Parish Development Model Tours in Greater Luwero sub-region in the districts of Luwero, Nakaseke and Nakasongola. Museveni continues to advocate for increased household incomes and financial inclusion among the ordinary citizens at low incomes. On the first day in Luwero, Obulenzi Town Council, Museveni met some of the successful beneficiaries of the parish development model, as our reporter tells it all here.
A 52-year-old Damali Nakayenga of Chikoma village, Obulenzi Town Council in Luwero district, is one of the progressive beneficiaries of the parish development model. When she received her 1 million PDM funds in March 2022, she invested it in poultry farming, starting with 100 birds. Out of the 100 birds, 8 died, and the rest were sold and got 1.7 million. She then expanded the poultry farming to include piggery and broilers. Currently, Nakayenga now has about 400 broilers and broilers, where she expects to get 5 million shillings at the end of the month and another 3 million from the sale of pigs. As a single mother, PDM funds have helped Nakayenga to support her 5 children.
Kubanga kati esente ezo zinyambe n'okujjanjaba omwana wange kwengula eddagala ze zimujjanjabisa nange mwenyini ng'omuntu nga maama bwendi awaka nga bwe mulaba bingi awaka ebiba byetaagisa naye bwe mmanya ati ninayo enkoko zange ne mmanya amagoba nja kujja ku magoba ago ne ntoolako ne ŋŋamba kanguleyo akasawo k'omuceere kateeka waka katambuza amaka ndi mukyala ali awo yali atandika obutandisi eyali ku zero ne kati ku zero ndi mu bina.
The chief promoter of wealth creation, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, visited Damali Nakayenga and says if PDM is properly implemented, Ugandans will no longer borrow from money lenders.
Bangambi nti aba money lenders okuweereza miliyoni emu omwaka obadde olina okumusasula banga miliyoni 4 oluvannyuma y'omwaka naye kati kubanga zino zammwe nago amagoba ge bagamba 6,000 si magoba era banadulira abasiraamu bali bantawanya nembatereeza nange nembamega mu Quran kubanga bali bagamba nti riba nembagamba eno si riba kubanga kujuriza is not okujuriza is not magoba kubanga sente.
Museveni pledged to support the 100 million per parish every financial year.
Buli mwaka ngenda kubalambira miliyoni 10. Esente zino zigenda kuddayo mu government zigenda kusigala wano banki ya mwono kati Nakayenga byabadde agamba nti oluvannyuma lw'emyaka 2 miliyoni emiji yafuna agenda kugiza mu nsawo y'ekibiina kyammwe si mu nsawo ya government mu nsawo yammwe y'ekibiina kyammwe kyawano ekyekikoma.
NRM Deputy National Treasurer Rose Namayanja Cervical says if Ugandans embrace PDM, poverty will be a history.
1 million shillings. She's able here, as we can see. She has broilers, she has broilers, and she has pigs. So this is an example that 1 million shillings can do something for someone who is not employed and who does not have a source of income.
At least 240 PDM circles have been formed in Greater Luwero and about 61 billion Ugandan shillings has been allocated to all the PDM circles with 64,210 beneficiaries in all the 3 greater Luwero districts. Philip Aguta for UBC News in Luwero.
Still in Luwero, President Yoweri Museveni visited Mariam Baiga, a widow and an established model farmer. Mariam, a resident of Sekanyonyi in Bamunanika sub-county Luwero district, is in dairy cattle keeping, goats rearing, poultry and coffee growing.
As early as 9 a.m., clad in yellow t-shirts, President Museveni's supporters had gathered to Ubc'S Town Council in Luwero district to receive him. President Museveni's campaign on wealth creation is now in Greater Luwero. Mariam Baiga, a resident of Sekanyonyi in Luwero district, hosted President Museveni on the first day of the trip.
Tuli balimi, kyekikulu tuli balimi, tuli balunzi, tulima emmwanyi, tulima kooko, tulima ebitooke.
She is currently reaping big from a dream which began low.
Obukadde 116 bwe tuyinza okufuna payiya tusasaanyako obukadde 69 mu emitwalo 33 mu ennusu 78. It means nti profit abeera obukadde 37 awo n'obutundutundu obukola ki obugwamu.
With a net worth of shillings at 4 million per annum, Mariam is not turning back.
Tusomoozebwa olw'ebintu bino wammanga. Entambula etumenya kubanga entambula tugipangisa okuva wammanga eyo gye nkugambye gye tujja ebisagazi gye tubadde tukkirira tugipangisa, emmwanyi gye tuzinuga nga tuvuddeko wano entambula tugipangisa. Mbadde nsaba ekitiibwa President nga nsaba nyambibwe ku nsonga eyo.
Njagala kubayozayoza n'omulimu omulungi gwe batandika kubanga kino kye bakozeeko kirungi ddala. Enkoko, ente z'amata, endiga, embuzi, sekoko, emmwanyi, koko, amatooke, muhogo, byonna mbirabye wano.
With this, Mariam, who is now a 2-month-old widow, says she is determined to mother and father her family.
Muwala wange Bayiga yeetaaga ente z'amata amangiko nga tugenda kumuwa miliyoni 12 ogule ente 2 nkakasa oyinza kuzifuna. My staff, please record this clearly. I don't know who is here now. Yes, I'm giving my daughter here a double cabin. Double cabin ya nungi ndoza. Double cabin 4-wheel drive.
It is not by coincidence that when President Yoweri Museveni kicked off Greater Luwero Wealth Creation Tour, Mariam was chosen among the many to host him at her farm.
Amaka abantu abasomako tulinawo degree 13, tulinawo masters 3 era atasoma teyayagala.
But now this one has come up to do farming. She has come up to challenge us, the men. So we should take the challenge and use the challenge.
President Museveni pledged to elevate Baiga from independence to a year-round farmer who will base on irrigation.
And I also want to build a solar-powered system for her. With a water source, like a smaller dam, which we can dig somewhere.
Baiga, however, reported to the president's insecurity in her locations. In response, President Museveni advised how police community-based model will improve on security and avert such situations.
On the issue of theft, they have police dogs. They can follow because those people who are stealing are not flying; they are walking. So, what we need is to combine to link up.
Kati ekyetaagisa President kyagamba nti police mubega muwulizigana nayo
No, if they try to, because sometimes they can walk and then go into cars. We have cameras on the roads. We can see which vehicles we are moving in that area.
The president's tour of Greater Luwero will take 3 days. Robert Nyango, UBC News.
Parliament has passed the Uganda People's Defence Forces Amendment Bill 2025 into law amidst tight security. The bill had spent weeks of political wrangling after the Supreme Court in January disqualified the military court-martial from trying civilians. We have details to this.
I put a question that the Uganda People's Defence Forces Amendment Bill 2025 be read a third time and do pass. Those in favor stand the court. Order, Madam Speaker. Have it.
The boycott by the opposition wing did not affect procedure as legislators progressed to debate the Uganda People's Defence Forces Amendment Bill 2025.
Title settled and the bill passed.
Order, Honorable Kasaija. I am confirming to you that we did not participate in writing of the report. When we started writing the report on Monday, the chairperson informed us that they were summoned to go to State House. And they promised that when they come back from State House, we shall complete the report. And we did not see them. Until today, we are seeing them in the House.
Amid this tight security around the August House, legislators proceeded with the bill after days of political wrangling.
On the issues, stop merrymaking.
The chairperson of the Defence and Internal Affairs Committee of Parliament, Wilson Kajwenje, presented a report of the Joint Committee supporting, among others, the trial of civilians by the court-martial under exceptional circumstances. This cites that the trial needs to be fair.
This requires changes to the military court structure to ensure that those presiding over these trials have legal training and appointed through a transparent process, a function independently of their superiors' influence.
This provision, including the jurisdictions of the court-martial, are contentious elements the critics have raised.
The members of the UPDF court-martial must be independent and impartial. They told us how they believe the independence and impartiality should be set out. Taking of the oath, we put it in clause 45.
The report asserts how civilians wearing similar attires of the UPDF, including berets, may impersonate military personnel, hence compromising security coordination.
In light of the evolving security threat and expanding military responsibilities, there is a critical need to realign the UPDF structure.
It is also reported that the civilians can engage in actions which impact on national security.
The committee acknowledges that military laws apply to officers and personnel within the defense forces, but they also address elements of national security.
Despite their absence, 2 minority reports were presented. Kyoga County MP Moses Okot cautioned the House against making laws to overcome the decision of the Supreme Court. He wanted the General Court-Martial to remain a tribunal.
For instance, since terrorism can only be tried by High Court, which is an ordinary or civil court, it would be contradictory to try it in the military court as well.
The offenses provided in the bill: murder, aggravated robbery, kidnap with intent to murder, treason, misprision of treason, and cattle rustling have all been provided already in our law books. That is the Penal Code Act.
Lack of public participation is a concern that has not gone unnoticed as the bill was against time.
We held discussion with Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. While processing this bill, Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable colleagues, we also entertained private legal practitioners. In this case, Counsel Jude Byamukama. We also entertained and granted audience to Kampala Reduction in Force veterans of the UPDF.
MP Jonathan Odu presented the second minority report tagging the Attorney General, Chiro Wachiwanuka, of double standards on the execution of the Supreme Court declarations.
Right Honourable Speaker, the offences provided in the bill, murder, aggravated robbery, kidnap with intent to murder, treason, misprision of treason, and cattle rustling have all been provided already in our law books. That is the Penal Code Act.
Yes, it is true, Right Honourable Speaker, that I did interpret the decision of the Supreme Court in the letter my learned friend Honourable Odu raised of 3rd February, and yes, I did state that our understanding of the Declaration 7, 8, and 9 of the court is that civilians could not be tried in the military courts. Right Honourable Speaker, Honourable colleagues, the military courts that I was referring to are the ones that exist now. The ones that exist now.
Chiro Wachiwanuka also dismissed allegations of interference with the sub judice process which was raised by MP Jonathan Odo. The over 100 clauses bill restructures the UPDF by creating new services such as the SFC and reserve force to improve operational capacity. Further amendments were proposed during the committee stage, where some MPs continued to object the jurisdiction of the General Court Martial.
It would not be prudent for lawmakers to skip the hierarchy of courts from the court martial and put it at the same level of the High Court.
But we wanted to reconcile with the practicability of having 3 lawyers who are highly qualified, who have handled murder, rape, these capital offenses, and
at the last hour, the bill was passed.
Yes, we shall display everything on TV for the wider public to understand what we have passed.
Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gutabinji, UBC News.
Clause 12.
Earlier on, there was a heated session unfolded in Parliament as opposition members staged a walkout ahead of the second reading of the UPDF Amendment Bill 2025. The MPs, led by the leader of the opposition, Joel Senyonyi, accused the committee of failure to consult key stakeholders.
This is the Parliament.
At exactly 10 a.m., members of Parliament from ruling and opposition parties were present in the House, ready for plenary. By 10:30 a.m., the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Namugongo, arrived to preside over the sitting. On the order paper were several bills scheduled for reading, including Political Parties and Organisation Bill 2025 and the UPDF Amendment Bill 2025. However, before the session could proceed, the leader of opposition, Joel Senyonyi, raised a procedural matter of dissatisfaction with a quick presentation of the UPDF Amendment Bill without adequate stakeholder consultations.
The reason I have insisted on this matter is because there were stakeholders who were saying we want to give our input. And you locked them out. That's the challenge. You can end up disregarding the input of those stakeholders, but listen to them.
According to the law, a 45-day consultation period is mandated for bills. Senyonyi cites the committee's disrespect of the law.
When I raised this issue before you, Right Honourable Speaker, you committed and said that I should not worry. The process is going to be given adequate time. After all, according to our rules, we've got 45 days within which to process these bills. The committee received our letter. They did not write back to us. So as we were waiting to show up on Monday to present our views, over the weekend they were busy processing, writing a report.
Speaker Anita Namugongo asked the Prime Minister to address the leader of opposition is concerned.
When the work is done, I apply Rule 26. I put this work on the order paper. I do not get involved in the committee work.
Some time back I told you I'm one of the best performing prime ministers. So if I can produce work in such a short time, I want the leader of opposition to appreciate.
In defense, the chairperson of Joint Committee on Legal and UPDF Affairs, Baka Mugabe, cited the committee's efficiency in handling the bill, regardless of what the law stipulates.
That simply means that within 45 days you should be able to present the work. If that work is presented within a week, you have not offended any rule. you should be thanked for being efficient.
Leader of Opposition Joel Senyonyi questioned the NRM Chief Whip's commentary on the bill after the meeting of the NRM caucus, citing it will be passed as is.
I had thought that as Government Chief Whip, you would be interested in input of different stakeholders into your bill as government. But when you bring a bill, and then you say we are going to pass it as is, regardless of any other input, regardless whether consultations have happened or not, that is problematic.
With this, Senyonyi informed the Speaker that there could not be members part in the reading of the bill. They walked out.
Honorable Nakut Faith, table the private member.
Senyonyi briefed the media about opposition next course of the action.
We agreed we shall not be part of a sham process. And we are categorical about calling this a sham process because once a bill has not gone through the consultation that is envisaged under the law, it is sham. And we have taken a decision that we are going to court over these matters because we have adequate grounds.
Opposition members outside the parliamentary chambers showed grievances towards the parliament not respecting the law.
It's outrageous that the bill that has been introduced is against the court ruling, and we find it in contempt of court.
It's really not fair to see that again as Parliament we start legislation of a matter that is already concluded by judicial. So we are saying no.
Trying to do is against the law, so we are against it completely.
Susan Nabugongo, Rebecca Nantongo for UBC News.
Still in Parliament, the House passed the Political Parties and Organizations Amendment Bill of 2025 that conditions funding of political parties represented in Parliament to the principles of tolerance, dialogue and peaceful coexistence as contained in the Political Parties and Organizations Act. The report from the Committee of the Legal and Constitutional Affairs recommended that a political party to receive government funding and other public resources should be part of the dialogue system in the governance line.
Let's have it.
A bill for an act titled the Political Parties and Organizations Amendment Act 2025.
Title settled and the bill passed.
Parliament has passed the Political Parties and Organizations Amendment Bill 2025 after presentation of the report from the Sectoral Committee on Legal and Constitutional Affairs and the Minority Report on the bill. Napak District Woman MP Nakut Faith moved the motion to read the bill for the second time and defended the motion, saying the object of the bill is to amend Cap 178 of the Principal Act to restrict government funding and other public resources provided to political parties represented in Parliament to only those that are members of the National Consultative Forum.
Provide for the Inter-Party Organization for Dialogue and the Forum for Non-Represented Political Parties and Political Organizations as organs of the National Consultative Forum.
West Budama North MP East Odoi Fox moved a motion to apply the waive required in the rules of procedure that gives 3 days to read the report, which was opposed by Honorable Jonathan Odor.
I beg to move a motion for the suspension of Rule 214, 14B, to waive the requirement in the rules that a committee report on a bill shall be debated after the expiry of 3 days from the date the report was tabled.
A rule for that motion to be accepted in this House, the first condition is that the reports are laid or circulated on our electronic platforms 3 days before. Secondly, that the chair presents the report here after those 3 days.
Right, Honorable Speaker and Honorable colleagues, Rule 214 is not one of those rules that this House cannot suspend. So if it so pleases the House is at liberty to act in accordance with the rules.
However, the Speaker, Anita Mong, moved the motion that Rule 214 be suspended, and the motion was supported, then gave the chairperson of the Committee on Legal, Stephen Baker, to proceed. The committee raised the need to condition funding on political parties' commitment to democratic principles of tolerance, dialogue, and peaceful coexistence.
The committee notes that the institutionalization of IPOD is a statutory body represents a critical step in the evolution of Uganda's democratic governance and political maturity. At institutional level, IPOD will be moving into a direction that is fundamental to its work.
However, the minority report on the same, presented by MP Jonathan Odur, states that if IPOD is institutionalized, it will impose a charge on the consolidated fund.
Parliament is stopped from proceeding on any bill or a motion for that bill that imposes a statutory charge on the consolidated fund. This is in Article 93 of the Constitution and Rule 130, Sub-Rule 1.
Government has already provided money for the National Consultative Forum, so there will not be any extra charge on the consolidated fund.
It says this bill has a financial implication which has been provided for in the budget of this institution. Okay. So it is not an imposition of a charge.
And if government says it does not have, and that is the legal advisor of government, and says it has no effect, then it doesn't.
This certificate will not impose new financing requirements. It will be financed within the already provided for budget.
The statement in the minority report that the bill breaches Article 93 of the Constitution was opposed.
No new charge or tax being introduced by the bill. And therefore, I think, and he knows it, but he's just taking Parliament for a ride.
Heard that the bill is not diabolic. It's actually intended to organize the current situation of political parties.
Speaker, are we proceeding well when we cannot discuss this issue? I have not been consulted as a leader of the summit. As a political party, we have not been consulted. How is it that we're debating this issue? And that is why I say it is diabolical. It is not done in the interest of the political players.
Have a gap as members of IPOD to go and ensure that you discuss this issue and maybe ask the president not to assent.
The bill was read for the second time, clause by clause, then third reading and passed. Now awaits the president's assent.
For clarity, to require a political party and organization to not only be a member of the inter-party organization for dialogue, but also participates in the activities of the inter-party organization for dialogue.
I put a question that the Political Parties and Organizations Amendment Bill 2025 be read the third time and do pass. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
A bill for an act titled the Political Parties and Organizations Amendment Act 2025.
Title settled and the bill passed.
I'm Nafka Farid and Gloria Ogwitabenji at Parliament.
The National Forestry Resources Research Institute, NAFORI, and the National Environmental Management Authority, NEMA, have started awareness workshops in Moroto on access to sandalwood genetic resources and benefits sharing.
Sandalwood tree grows in drier tropical areas of Asia, Australia, and the Pacific Islands. In Uganda, it is only found in Karamoja sub-region in Tepes, Amudat, and Nakapiripirit districts. Sandalwood has benefits, and it is believed to produce the sandalwood oil, which is essential oil derived from the heartwood of the sandalwood trees. It is known for its distinctive woody, sweet scent and is used in perfumery, aromatherapy, cosmetics, and mild food flavoring. The Karimajong use this plant for firewood, medicine, fencing the kraal, not knowing other benefits that would fetch them money. Those who knew about the sandalwood have been smuggling it to Kenya.
From the roots and the stem, they extract a certain liquid which they use for making perfume, very expensive perfume. And that is why it is being smuggled across the borders of the country to take it to countries where they can extract that perfume.
Uganda is part of the Nagoya Protocol, which was signed in Japan in 2010. The treaty provides framework for fair and equitable sharing of benefits arising from utilization of genetic resources and associated traditional knowledge. National Forestry Resource Research Institute, NAFORI, the National Environment Management Authority are creating awareness meetings on the access to Sandalwood genetic resources and benefit sharing. Dr. Samson Gwali is the principal investigator at the ABS project.
The project is helping to restore and conserve the populations of sandalwood so that even if they want to take it for extracting the perfume, they do it legally. And to do it legally, we want anybody doing that business to come and access it with permission, with our agreement, and also if they make money or they make any benefits, to share the benefits with us.
From Nabuyan Zonal Agricultural Research and Development Institute, Dr. Rogers Azabo represented the National Agriculture Organization Director General, Yona Baguma.
Become the ambassadors of the project by creating awareness in your communities where you're coming from, and also encouraging them to protect this species jealousy.
The initiative excited participants transform lives of communities.
The dream of the project will be sustained and it will go on. However, there are challenges facing the sandalwood.
Today, I have discovered one that is so much useful in Karamoja. The research has shown us that Karamoja is very rich with different trees that can give benefit to the Karamojong, that can give livelihood to the Karamojong.
The Director of Research at NAFORI, Dr. John Adrico, explained opportunities in Sandalwood.
If you feel you want to add value, develop those cosmetics, those different products out of sandalwood, we have another program called Forest Products and Services.
The initiative excited participants transform lives of communities.
To see that this
Big thing about the MTN Super. Wali yakapia musite wali yakapia. MTN kabo the Super mustairompia. Then you kabo the smartphone nebi yakabibiona. MTN kabo the Super mustairompia. Then you kabo the smartphone nebi yakabibiona.
Get the new Kabode Super smartphone and enjoy 16 GB free. Start with a deposit of only 45,000 Uganda shillings and pay the rest in daily installments of less than 1K. You can also make weekly and monthly installments. Together, our vibes are unstoppable. Terms and conditions apply.
MTN.
MTN is regulated by Uganda Communications Commission.
Mera ngenze mboni pa Sam nazanya ruto ganyiga star 278 then hash kujja kubanga oyingide mu kazannyo nga sente zino zimula wano zina wangu zino wano milioni 10 ebindi wana soka bila ku TV nange sasoka kikiriza ninga mulaye kino kinzo kubanga kituufu oba yaddala tibya bufere sente zona zifunye zona zikoze ki naziwangudde amasanyu ina mangi byoto byange byembadde njagala genda bitukiriza.
Uganda National Lottery. Dream, play, win.
Participants must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The Uganda National Lottery is operated by Tuba Uganda and regulated by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory.
Are you a woman with a small-scale business with a dream of growing it to another level? The GROW Project is here to support you in realizing your dream.
The GROW Project is a government initiative implemented by the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development and Private Sector Foundation Uganda with support from the World Bank.
We support women-owned businesses across the country to gain hands-on and business management skills through training within your location, business financing through grants and affordable loans, and infrastructure in your area areas of operation to enable you to increase your productivity.
If you have a business that makes sales of up to 800,000 Uganda shillings per month, the GROW project has the tools and resources to help you succeed. For more information, contact your district or city GROW focal person or call our toll-free line on 0800 307 777 to learn more about how you can benefit from the GROW project's services.
The GROW project, empowering women economically, transforming communities.
Two sects of Catholic and Anglican pilgrims from Lira Catholic Diocese and the Diocese of Madi West Nile, respectively, have reached Kigumba ahead of the 3rd June Martyrs' Day celebrations 2025.
The trekking and the photo-prints in this video depicts the agenda of believers with intent to mimic the faithful journey of the Ugandan martyrs who were killed for their faith to Christianity by Kabaka Mwanga II. This group of 217 Anglican pilgrims I have joined from Kigumba in Kiryandongo district is from the Diocese of Madi in Western Nile, who started trekking their journey from Arua and Nebi on Friday. The team led by Reverend Dennis Adoroti expressed enthusiasm for the holy journey.
We are much grateful that we have gone this far up to Kigumba from Arua and the other thing from Nebi, and it's a long distance we have traveled. This is our eldest pilgrim. She's around 85 to 90. Yeah. So she has been moving. We have not ever taken her in a car.
They are trekking the journey under the watchful eye of Uganda Traffic Police, charged with the mandate of clearing the way for them to avoid road occupation hazards like accidents.
The Catholics are right here. Sorry.
On the other hand, the devoted pilgrims are escorted by ambulances, and so far no accidental hazards have trespassed their trek, and they are joyous, enjoying every bit of the trek they are covering to their final destination at Namugongo Martyrs' Shrine.
I feel very happy and humble, and God give me a strength. I'm 55 years old. Now, even today, tomorrow, I can move up to Namugongo. I know God will give me strength.
Many people were healed. Many people, they have many testimonies. This is so wonderful. And we can't take it for granted. We want to encourage others also not to take it for granted, also to participate in this event.
Meanwhile, 967 Catholic pilgrims from Lira Catholic Diocese, who started their trek to Namugongo on Saturday, will have their third rest at Immaculate Mary Queen of Martyrs Kigumba Catholic Parish. The seemingly tired and worn-out believers whom I have met at Immaculate Mary Queen of Martyrs Catholic Church, their conviction is inspired by the hymns they are singing along the trek. Despite the status of some trekkers after many kilometers of walk, calls for massaging of their legs and feet, they expressed the resilience of not giving up until they close on to Namugongo Martyrs' Shrine probably in a week's time.
I wanted to get some relief because we reached here yesterday at midday, so the muscles were a little bit not stretched very well. So that is why I wanted the muscles to be a little stretched.
Many of the believers are optimistic. This year's Martyrs' Day celebrations will be miraculous with immense prayer requests.
St. Kizito, being a child, he had a lot of faith. Because people might think he didn't know what he was doing, but already God has inspired him. And through that faith, he showed the adults who were fearing that everything is possible with God.
I'm feeling well. There's other challenges. During this, if we are walking, other friends of ours feeling They are not feeling well, but for me, I'm feeling well.
Tomorrow, if we are going in a sleeping place, where we shall sleep in Nakitoma. That is the place where we shall sleep, which means we shall leave here like at midnight. We are starting the journey to Nakitoma.
Gudi Akio, the Public Relations Officer at Lira Catholic Diocese, shared the key points for the journey so far covered.
When you are moving, you don't move alone on the road. We see vehicle passing, business going on, so we are just moving like that. As I talk now, we don't have any accident, but when you are moving, moving is not easy. Walking is not easy. You move, you feel pain in some part of your leg, some part of your chest, because you carry a bag like 5 kilograms, because you need to have your luggage inside.
The teams are expected to arrive at Anglican and Catholic shrines in Namugongo on 31st and 1st June. Amwaiva Njuko and Kenneth Tanaba for UBC.
Coming in, several people are feared dead around Mukono at a place called Wantoni after a trailer has rammed into an eating place, a roadside eating place commonly known as Toninyira. Several people are feared dead in that area, but we'll get to know more in just the near future. We're trying to see how our teams can reach the place and get us to have more updates. But there is sad news around Mukono, Wantoni. Moving on, children of the late Assistant Director of Public Prosecutions, John Kagezi, have shed tears in court while giving evidence in the murder case of their mother. The children narrated to court what happened on the fateful evening when assailants murdered their mother, although they were not able to see the assailant physically.
The International War Crimes Division Court has started the hearing of the murder case of the Assistant Director of Public Prosecution, Joan Namazi Kagezi. The first prosecution witness was Carlo Namugambe Kagezi, daughter to the deceased Joan Namazi. She told court how they moved with their mother and 2 siblings from the then anti-corruption court situated in Kololo at around 5 p.m. on 30th March 2015. Upon reaching in Chiwature, while in the office vehicle, they thought of buying some fruits, which prompted them to make a stopover.
A lot of people started coming around the car, more specifically on the driver's side. A lot of them were advising that we should take her to hospital.
In the process of buying the fruits, just a few minutes, they had a loud bang, and immediately they saw smoke coming out of the car.
There was a man, I don't remember the rest of his face. He stood out to me because while everyone would glance and walk away, I asked him why he was looking at my mother in the way that he was, and he just stared back at me.
While at the scene later, the former CID boss, Grace Akulo, came at the scene and carried Joan Kagezi's body to Mulago Hospital, where the doctors announced her dead.
And she said, "Oh, I know this lady." When she said that, I said, "Oh, if you know her, please, I'm her daughter. Would you please help me?"
Carol Kagezi also told court how the death of their mother affected their livelihoods to date.
Of course, she was the sole breadwinner at home. So, of course, we had so many questions about how we would finish school, and of course, how life will continue.
She broke down in tears. The second witness, Daniel Chiseka, who was yesterday sentenced to 35 years imprisonment for the murder of Joan Kagezi. Chiseka told court how he got to know the 3 accused persons who were vendors in Karere Market. After joining the army in 2011, they persuaded him to desert the army, stealing guns, and came back to Kampala to make money. After a while, they met with the accused Chibuka, who brought a deal of murdering Joan Kagezi Namazi at $200,000, and that they were to be provided with guns. Chiseka and the 3 accused persons, after acquiring the guns, rode through Bahai in Tinda and went to Chiwature Church, where they parked and waited for Joan Kagezi's car. After the murder, they went to Nsova, and the following day they planned to get a witch doctor to perform some rituals in order to evade prosecution. The accused persons in this case include John Chibuka, John Masereje, and Asa Abdul Mugonore. Court will resume tomorrow for further hearing of the case. Deborah Namamonde, Viola Nance, UBC News.
Health experts advise women to go for regular screening as part of efforts to combat cervical cancer in Uganda during cervical cancer among women. Dr. Frank Mugabe from the Ministry of Health Department of Non-Communicable Diseases says that early detection through screening can lead to effective treatment and recovery.
Uganda faces a high cancer burden with 36,000 new cases annually. Of these, 7,000 are cervical cancer, representing 20% of all cancers. Ministry of Health is working with district health officials to expand screening services as government continues to provide the HPV vaccine to girls aged 9 to 14 as a preventive measure.
That one of the dangers that we are seeing that people should listen to and really come up and get screened is that we have observed that in Uganda, when people are diagnosed with the cancer, most of them are diagnosed when the cancer is very old and they don't live for long.
Dr. Alfred Jatho from the Uganda Cancer Institute says Uganda recently received support from the South Korean government to boost cervical cancer screening programs in Kampala City, Mbarara City, and Mbarara District.
And after the 3 years, we are going to enroll it to other districts.
According to Dr. Jatho, increased uptake of early screening among women can ease the financial burden on the healthcare system.
Government Uganda and development partners have put a lot of money to procure that drug. And they don't want to wait, our population to wait when the cancer has advanced to the extent where you need chemotherapy, where you need surgery. We want people to screen and find it early and prevent, stop the cancer, or stop the early warning changes that lead to cancer before changing into cancer.
Dr. Peter Sebutinde, the district health officer, confirmed that cervical cancer screening is now available at all health center 3s in Mbarara district.
Especially at the community level, using our community-based structure, we want to implement it to the dot. We want to bring people on board.
Mbarara City Health Officer Dr. Mugisha Ronjino encouraged the public to follow the ministry's preventative guidelines.
So we are doing community mobilization through vans, through radios, through TVs, and even that's why we are here.
Cervical cancer accounts for 40% among women, making it the most common cancer in the country.
Short break. On return, we'll have more. Please keep
Techno and MTN. Together, our flash snap is unstoppable. Grab the Techno Camon 40 series and get free 9 GB of MTN data, valid for 3 months. Don't wait. Get your Techno Camon 40 today at Techno stores and MTN outlets. MTN is regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission.
Agriculture is Uganda's economic backbone, employing about 70% of the working population and contributing 20% of the GDP. As the world becomes a digital global village, ICT has proven to increase productivity in the agricultural value chain. UPDF, through its Strategic Plan 3, recognizes the importance of access and usage of ICT-based tools, information and knowledge for farmers by providing them the needed skills to live, learn, work and participate in a digital society.
We came up with a project which we took to UPC'S, and we are happy that UPC'S supported it.
That project is called ICT for Farmers. What do we get from ICT for Farmers? We managed to skill up to 100,000 farmers.
Uyu ye Diplock Sega wanga chaguze emyaka namu 3 May ku National Theatre. A lifetime of melody concert. 43 years of Diplock Segawa performing in Kampala for the first time in a long time. Enyimbo boba dowuli ampulire kati jangu. Diplock Segawa hazikuyimbire. Tickets eya gold ya $15 ate VIP ya $30. Booking a ticket yo ku noti 775 oba ku www.carrytickets.com oba ku National Theatre. Ono ye Diplock Segawa. 23 May 2025 ku National Theatre, celebrating 43 years of Diplock Segawa. Big Tutusibwako Charism, UNCC, UNMF, Statewide Insurance Company, UCC, Riz Medical Center, Donjo Fashions, Hot, Q Vibes, Nekari Tickets.
The inaugural first Uganda-China coffee awareness tour has brought a delegation of Chinese coffee investors and enthusiasts to Uganda to trace the journey of coffee from the farm to the cup. Uganda-China coffee awareness tour, which began on the 12th of May 2025, officially concluded with a conference in Kampala.
First of all, to sensitize more our Chinese friends. And you know, President Xi Jinping, President Museveni, they have very good relationship. So let's utilize that relationship.
Led by Uganda's ambassador to China, Oliver Woneka, the delegation visited key coffee growing regions across the country to witness firsthand how Uganda's premium coffee is cultivated and harvested.
It's an opportunity for us. China has got a population of 1.4 billion people, and today drinking coffee in China is a modern thing. It's en vogue, no Rachel. So let's utilize the opportunity as Uganda to make sure that we also enjoy part of the Chinese market. In Africa, Uganda is the second biggest coffee exporter. Why don't we take the opportunity of the large market in China?
Present at the conference was China's ambassador to Uganda, Zhang Lizong, who affirmed China's growing interest in Uganda's coffee industry.
China has emerged as a significant market for Uganda's coffee export. Last year, we imported over 8,700 tons, valued at $31 million of coffee from Uganda, accounting for nearly 40% of Uganda's total export to China.
Uganda's permanent secretary in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Vincent Bagire Waiswa, highlighted the country's strategic efforts to market economic crops such as coffee for increased revenue and sustainable development.
By showcasing our unique coffee flavors and quality, we can differentiate ourselves from other coffee producing countries and establish a real customer base in China. The tour has also attracted investment in value addition, enabling Uganda to move up the coffee value chain and increase its foreign earnings.
Coffee trade is very good. I repeat, the coffee trade is very good. It's very good in terms of margins. You can make a lot of money out of coffee. It's very good because whatever coffee you have, it will always have a market. Am I wrong? No.
A commissioner for coffee development at the Ministry of Agriculture, Dr. Gerald Cholo, shared an overview of the coffee sector.
So in the last 1 year, we have exported 6.87 million bags, and we earned $1.84 billion from coffee between February 2024 and March 2025. That means we are making remarkable progress.
Branded under the slogan, "Rooted in Uganda, Trusted in China," the tour symbolized a deepening partnership where coffee begins and collaborations grow. I'm Nafka Farida and Vincent Wamundu.
And that brings us to the end of all we had for you tonight. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Michael Jordan Lukomwa with Elizabeth Nakakuni and the whole team. Wish you the best of the night. Bye-bye.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Oyo ye Diplock Segawanga jaguze myaka namwe 33 May ku National Theatre. A lifetime of melody concert. 43 years of Diplock Segawa performing in Kampala for the first time in a long time. Enyimbo boba dowuli ampulire kati jangu. Diplock Segawa has kuyimbire. Tickets eya gold ya mitwalo 15 ate VIP ya mitwalo 30. Booking a ticket yo ku noti 765 587 225 oba ku www.carrytickets.com oba ku National Theatre. Ono ye Diplock Segawa. 23 May 2025 ku National Theatre, celebrating 43 years of Diplock Segawa. Big Tutusibwako Charism, UNCC, UNMF, Statewide Insurance Company, UCC, Riz Medical Center, John Joe Fashions, Hot, Q Vibes, Nekari Tickets.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.